March 25, 2012. James Cameron, filmmaker who sent audiences to alien worlds and sinking ocean liners, descended alone into Earth's deepest darkness. DEEPSEA Challenger, a lime green vertical torpedo he'd helped design, carried him to Challenger Deep, 10,908 meters below the Pacific. The descent took 2 hours 36 minutes. At the bottom, Cameron became the first solo human to reach this extreme, the third person ever. But his journey wasn't about records. It represented a fundamental shift, private innovation achieving what only governments could previously afford. Cameron invested his own fortune, assembled his own team, designed revolutionary materials and systems. The dive proved that frontier exploration no longer required national programs. Individual vision paired with modern engineering could reach any environment. His cameras captured footage for science and cinema, blurring lines between exploration and storytelling, research and art. James Cameron's path to Challenger Deep began not in oceanographic institutions but in Hollywood studios. Titanic's unprecedented success, billions in revenue, 11 Academy Awards, cultural phenomenon status, funded an obsession deeper than commercial filmmaking. The director who recreated the ship's sinking wanted to witness the actual wreck personally. But visiting Titanic's resting place at 3,800 meters sparked interest transcending single sight. What lived at greater depths? What ecosystems thrived where sunlight never penetrated? What could advanced imaging technology reveal about deep ocean environments? While where others saw incompatibility between art and science, Cameron recognized synergy. Filmmaking demanded compelling imagery, emotional impact, audience engagement. Science demanded rigorous documentation, systematic observation, verifiable data. Both required presence at phenomena, sophisticated technology, and expert collaboration. The filmmaker's eye for composition didn't conflict with scientific observation, it enhanced it. Knowing what made compelling footage meant recognizing what patterns mattered, what behaviors revealed significance, what moments captured essential truths. Machine learning began assisting fauna detection in deep-sea imagery. Algorithms trained to recognize organism types in darkness punctuated by artificial lights. But algorithms lacked context, missed subtleties, couldn't distinguish truly novel observations from equipment artifacts or known species in unusual positions. Human observers making real-time judgments remained irreplaceable, exactly the philosophy that drove man's submersible development decades earlier. B-aided camera landers captured 24-hour time-lapse sequences of scavenger behavior at depths submersibles couldn't sustain prolonged operations. The systems revealed feeding hierarchies, species interactions, population densities, information impossible to gather through brief, submersible visits. Cameron understood that comprehensive ocean exploration required multiple approaches: landers for extended monitoring, submersibles for directed observation and sampling, surface ships for logistics and support. No single technology sufficed. Cameron's filmmaker background provided unique advantage. He understood that capturing deep ocean life required presence because lighting, perspective, and timing mattered as much as equipment specifications. Remote cameras positioned randomly captured what happened to occur. Piloted vehicles positioned where pilots judged likely to yield interesting observations captured targeted phenomena. The difference resembled documentary filmmaking versus security camera footage, both record reality. But one does so with intention and expertise. The transition from filming ocean depths to personally exploring them wasn't dramatic conversion, but logical progression. To tell ocean stories compellingly, Cameron needed to understand ocean environments intimately. to document deep sea life effectively. He needed to witness it behaving naturally, and to contribute meaningfully to science while creating engaging media. He needed to bring the tools and expertise both domains required. DEEPSEA Challenger embodied that integration, scientific platform, and filming vehicle. Research submersible and documentary production tool. DEEPSEA Challenger's design challenged conventional submersible architecture. Where previous vessels used horizontal orientations resembling submarines, Cameron's vehicle adopted vertical torpedo configuration. The radical design minimized drag during descent, enabling faster travel to target depths. Faster descent meant less time-consuming battery power reaching bottom, more time available for observation and sampling before mandatory ascent. The pilot sphere represented perhaps most revolutionary innovation, syntactic foam construction rather than traditional metal pressure hulls. Syntactic foam, microscopic glass spheres embedded in epoxy resin, provided buoyancy while resisting crushing pressures. The material proved lighter than titanium, cheaper to fabricate, and easier to shape into complex geometries. Engineering trade-offs existed. Syntactic foam offered less certainty than proven metal designs, required extensive testing to validate strength, represented higher technical risk. But successful implementation provided dramatic performance advantages. Communication systems presented persistent challenges. Underwater acoustic signaling travels slowly, approximately 1,500 meters per second in water. 5 times faster than sound in air, yet frustratingly slow compared to electromagnetic radiation. The relatively glacial transmission creates effect resembling poor telephone connections, delays, distortion, limited bandwidth. Acoustic modems converting digital data to underwater sound signals enabled real-time communication, but with severe constraints. Brief status updates worked. Extended conversations didn't. Video transmission remained impractical. Despite limitations, acoustic modems revolutionized deep ocean operations. They enabled AUV control from surface vessels, real-time oceanographic data retrieval from seafloor sensors, emergency communication when traditional systems failed. NOAA's 39 DART tsunami warning stations use seafloor sensors transmitting pressure data via acoustic modems to surface buoys, then satellite links to warning centers. The technology that let Cameron communicate with surface supports similarly protected coastal populations from catastrophic waves. Autonomous surface vehicles equipped with acoustic modems served as communication gateways, relaying signals between submerged assets and distant control centers. The ASVs positioned themselves optimally for signal transmission, moving as needed to maintain connectivity. Cameron's dive depended on surface vessels monitoring his position, depth, status. Maintaining that awareness required acoustic communication working reliably under challenging conditions. Azure drift cam operations to 1,000 meters provided rapid habitat appraisal during descent. The towed imaging system captured continuous footage, creating visual record of water column and seafloor approach. Predictive habitat mapping correlated species distributions with environmental variables, depth, temperature, salinity, oxygen concentration. The models helped identify where specific organisms likely occurred, guiding sampling priorities and observation focuses. Every engineering decision involved trade-offs. Vertical configuration improved descent efficiency but complicated pilot ergonomics. Syntactic foam reduced weight but increased fabrication complexity. Advanced imaging captured unprecedented detail but consumed limited battery capacity. Acoustic communication enabled surface coordination but imposed frustrating delays. Cameron and his engineering team navigated these compromises systematically, prioritizing capabilities essential for mission success while accepting limitations in less critical areas. The vehicle that descended to Challenger Deep represented collaborative achievement more than individual effort. Dozens of engineers, materials scientists, software developers, safety inspectors, and logistics coordinators contributed expertise. Cameron provided vision, funding, and ultimate responsibility. The team surrounding him provided technical capability translating vision into functional vehicle. The solo dive paradox, reaching Earth's most isolated point, demanded largest collaborative effort. March 25, 2012 arrived with weather windows opening. Deep ocean operations depend on surface conditions. Launching and recovering submersibles in rough seas risks catastrophic accidents. Calm weather meant proceed. Rough weather meant wait, regardless of schedule pressures or mounting costs. Nature determines timing, not human preferences. Cameron entered Deep-Sea Challenger's cramped pilot sphere, positioned vertically with feet below. Head above, orientation matching vehicle's configuration. Hatches sealed. Systems activated. Ballast released. The vertical torpedo began sinking through sunlit shallows into darkness that would persist until ascent 7 hours later. Descent took 2 hours 36 minutes, significantly faster than Trieste's original 5-hour journey, but still substantial time enclosed in pressure vessel with no exit option. Abort procedures existed, but aborting meant surfacing immediately, abandoning mission objectives, accepting that years of preparation yielded no bottom time. The psychological pressure to continue despite problems made abort decisions difficult even when rationally correct. Solitude intensified during descent. Surface ship maintained acoustic contact, but conversations remained brief, technical, delayed. Cameron descended alone in ways Pickard and Walsh never experienced. They had each other's presence, shared observations, divided monitoring duties. Solo operation meant every responsibility, every decision, every moment of fear or triumph experienced without companion. Some find isolation focusing. Others find it overwhelming. Cameron chose isolation deliberately, understanding that solo operations simplified logistics, reduced life support requirements, and provided experiences impossible in crowded crew configurations. Scientific sampling and high-definition filming occurred simultaneously at bottom. Cameron's filmmaker training meant he understood what footage would resonate with audiences while satisfying scientific documentation requirements. The dual-purpose expedition collected sediment samples for biological analysis, while capturing imagery for both research publication and eventual documentary release. Where some saw conflict between scientific and popular audiences, Cameron recognized both deserved quality content serving different but complementary purposes. The heritage of deep-sea imaging stretched back to French inventor Ernest Bazin's 1860s underwater photography experiments. MIT's Harold Edgerton developed deep-sea strobe lighting mid-20th century, enabling clear images where permanent darkness prevailed. Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution and Lamont Geological Observatory created first modern subsea cameras in 1940s and 50s, crude by contemporary standards, but revolutionary for their era. Cameron's Deep-Sea Challenger cameras represented evolutionary endpoint of technology progression spanning over a century, from wet plate photography, barely capturing recognizable images, to high-definition video documenting species behavior and habitat details with cinematic quality. Return journey presented distinct challenges. Surfacing required dropping ballast, transitioning from negative to positive buoyancy, trusting that ascent mechanisms functioned correctly. Equipment recovery after surfacing demanded careful handling, Expensive systems subjected to extreme pressures and corrosive salt water needed inspection, maintenance, protective storage. The mission's success wasn't measured solely by reaching bottom, but by returning safely with functioning equipment and usable data. Modern imaging technology advances enabled Cameron's dive delivered broader scientific benefits beyond single expedition. Cameras merging multiple exposures into photomosaics mapped seafloor features from centimeters to hundreds of meters resolution. TAOCam systems using 24-megapixel Nikon D3300 DSLR cameras with dome optics rated to 6,000 meters created detailed habitat maps identifying organism distributions and geological features. EMISO. OIS GoPro cameras provided 12-megapixel still capability with customizable time-lapse intervals. The compact, relatively inexpensive systems democratized deep-sea imaging. Research teams with modest budgets could deploy camera arrays, capturing comprehensive coverage, previously requiring expensive specialized equipment. IP multi-SeaCam systems on 5 Deeps landers reached 11,000 meters, documenting life at maximum ocean depths with image quality impossible during earlier exploration eras. Quiescent imaging freed pilots from camera operation duties through autonomous photography. Pre-programmed systems captured images at set intervals or triggered by motion sensors, relieving human operators of manual control responsibilities. The 2016 Oasis expedition deployed 24-megapixel cameras at 10-second intervals, generating massive image datasets, revealing behavioral patterns occurring too slowly for real-time observation to detect. 2018 Loki Castle photomosaic combined 263 images mapping approximately 100-meter scarp feature with detail, enabling individual organism identification. 2019 5 Deeps expedition biodiversity documentation led to new species identification within weeks of imagery return, unprecedented speed reflecting both image quality and advancing analytical techniques. NISO systems recorded over 1 million deep-sea photographs since 2002 across 60-plus cruises, building comprehensive visual database, enabling comparative studies, temporal change analysis, and species range mapping. Cameron's private innovation model inspired subsequent deep ocean exploration ventures, where government programs moved slowly, constrained by bureaucracy and political funding cycles. Private expeditions pivoted quickly, incorporated emerging technologies rapidly, accepted calculated risks institutional programs avoided. The democratization of extreme environment access didn't replace government science but complemented it, enabling more exploration occurring through more diverse funding models. Some missions prioritized pure research. Others balanced science with media production, education outreach, or technology demonstration. Variety of approaches meant more ocean floor witnessed by human eyes or camera systems. The ocean filmmaker turned explorer proved that expertise from seemingly unrelated domains enhanced rather than compromised scientific research. Cameron's cinematic instincts helped identify compelling observations. His production experience enabled effective science communication. His willingness to invest personal fortune demonstrated commitment government grants couldn't match. The dive to Challenger Deep represented more than depth record or solo achievement. It validated that 21st century exploration belongs to anyone assembling necessary expertise, resources, and determination. Frontiers yield not to institutions exclusively, but to individuals recognizing that modern engineering, collaborative networks, and focused vision enable previously impossible achievements.